Hi, my name is Zachary Smit, and I'm a D1 at Roseman College of Dental Medicine, and I'm going to take you through our study, the oral health after effects of fluoridation cessation. So here's the agenda for the things we're going to cover. We're going to cover the aim of the study, methods, the results, and then our discussion. Now, just a quick little note before we get too far into this, we are not completely done with the study, so some of the stuff is still pending, but just so you're prepared for that. So the aim of the study, our aim was to synthesize the global evidence regarding the dental health effects of community water fluoridation cessation, to highlight observed patterns and contextual influences following policy changes, and to identify critical knowledge gaps to guide future evidence-based policies. So to accomplish these goals, we outlined these following methods. So first, we searched through everything, really. We found bibliographic databases, gray literature, and relevant websites just wherever we could find it. And then we went through everything that we found in all those from all those sources, and we looked for any study design comparing dental outcomes before versus after the cessation of water fluoridation. And I'll go through a little bit more of the inclusion and exclusion criteria here in a second. But once we had the articles that we wanted, we looked for outcomes that included the caries experience, DMFT/DMFS indices, untreated decay, restorative treatment needs, dental costs, and oral health inequalities. And then we haven't done it yet, but we will be charting data by population type, reasons for cessation, and identified confounders. So here is the inclusion-exclusion criteria for you to read through at your leisure. So take a second, pause it, go through and read if you would like. But this is the more important slide that we have. So you'll notice that we found 9,694 articles from all of these different sources here. And then we also found another 256 from science.gov. So all these databases, we went through and we took out the duplicate records. So we ended up removing 4,038, which left us with a total of 5,656 total articles to be screened. And then we went through that and we searched through them using our inclusion and exclusion criteria to determine which ones we wanted to keep for the data extraction. And as of yet, that's about as far as we have gotten. So we have yet to finish out the rest of this Prisma flow diagram, but for the moment, we have gone through and taken out all the duplicates, and we have excluded all the ones that we want, and we're in the middle of the data extraction. Now, some of the results that we're coming across so far, again, these aren't complete, but what we have found is that there seems to be an impact on oral health. Many studies are suggesting a shift towards less favorable oral health indicators once we remove community water fluoridation. However, we are seeing also other studies that show that there's been a minimal change, but those are often accompanied by strong alternative preventative measure programs. So that's like having fluoride varnishes or fluoride toothpaste or fluoride tablets I've seen in some of them. So the studies that show minimal change are also accompanied by these preventative measures, these alternatives to community water fluoridation. Some other factors influencing the variability. There is baseline caries prevalence, the access to dental care, usage of topical fluoride, as I mentioned, and then existing public health infrastructure. So we're getting these articles from all across the world. We're trying to find as many as possible, and there is a lot of variability in them, depending on whatever context we're finding these programs. Now, lastly, our discussion of our results. There seems to be a risk when we stop community water fluoridation. It poses measurable oral health risks, though the effects, like I said, vary by the context that you find the program removed in. We urge policymakers to weigh these risks against their local preventative capacity before changing the fluoridation policy, as we see that there are many options and many pathways that we can follow with this. Future needs. We found that we need better surveillance on identifying what the effects of community water fluoridation entails. We need to standardize the outcomes. We need to find equity-focused research, and those are needed to guide evidence-based fluoridation policy. So that is the end of the presentation on the oral health after effects of fluoridation cessation. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or any of my colleagues. Thank you for watching.